Well, hello everyone. This is Deidre Kindred, your nurse advocate, on tonight of Health Chats Among Friends. So my name is Deidre. I am a nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And Health Chats is all about bringing you guys reputable resources from your local communities. So tonight I get the pleasure of talking with Fran, who's a good friend out of New York. Am I correct?
Virginia.
Virginia. I knew it was upstate. So
North
Virginia,
to Texas.
yes, forgive me. So she's from Virginia, and I get the awesome pleasure of talking with her about her story and her services. So Fran, introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Deidre, for inviting me to be a part of your podcast tonight. My name is Fran Babashak, and I am a mother of three. I have twins who are 24 and a daughter 20. And I'm an independent consultant with Arbonne International these past 6 years, and I completely love what I do with them because I just love helping others with their health and wellness in so many ways. And I shared that when I met Deidre, and she wanted me to share that story with you guys as well.
Yes, I do. It's a wonderful story. And so as we were getting to know each other, I was like, you got to tell this story. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to let you tell your story and go from there.
Okie doke. Well, about 6 years ago, I had never even heard of Arbonne before. And somebody offered me a skincare sample. I was super skeptical. I was like, I'm good. I've tried good stuff. I've tried inexpensive stuff. Doesn't seem to make a difference. But she was so kind. I had to say yes. And I immediately noticed a difference because the products are so clean there. You go by the European standard, which doesn't allow 1,400 known harmful ingredients in their products. And then Arbonne took it another 600. So here in the US, our FDA only excludes about 14 known harmful ingredients. That's it, from skincare and makeup. And that was the difference I noticed because before, the things I had used have been filled with animal products and phthalates and parabens and artificial this, artificial that. And the list just goes on. So that was why I noticed a total difference. So I became a happy skincare customer. 6 months later, I discovered they also had other products like nutrition, and they offered a 30 days to healthy eating program, which goes off on the first Monday of every month. So I decided I'd try that. And it is a wonderful way to learn how foods serve you and don't serve you. And it never felt like a diet. It was just teaching me really good choices for myself. And it is somewhat of an elimination program because during those 30 days, you give up gluten, dairy, soy, alcohol, sugar, and coffee. And by the end of it, I was so happy with my results. I was sleeping better. I had more energy, and I got back into my high school size, which I was thrilled with. And it was all because I had been taught really good choices. And one of the things I discovered was that dairy was not serving me. And along that time, same period of time when I was introduced to this whole thing, my father, he had Parkinson's, but it was starting to get worse and worse. And my mother had just passed, and he started losing like about 25 pounds. And I realized he needs additional care. And I thought about bringing someone in, but he's so social. He loves to be around people. And I thought that he would much rather be around a lot of people. And so we decided to move to an assisted living facility. As things progressed with his illness, we're pretty sure that he has something called PSP. And it's I forget the first P, but it's supranuclear palsy, like something supranuclear palsy, which is known as a Parkinson's mimicking disease. So there are some similarities. There's that slight tremor, but one of the key reasons the neurologist thinks it might be is that he doesn't react to the carbidopa levodopa as a regular Parkinson's person would. Like if you're like even a little bit late getting that, you go into terrible tremors. That never happens to him.
Okay.
And what the other symptoms were that make him point to this PSP is that the symptoms are mostly in the axis of his body, where the neck and head come together. So he has difficulty speaking. His voice has gotten very, very soft. It's very hard to understand him. He's got a lot of saliva. His eyes shut involuntarily. He has like a facial mask, like whereas he used to be very animated, it's just a very flat face, expressionless face, and very stiff neck. Everything is very tight around here. So, you know, that the biggest symptom of all, though, was swallowing, and he was getting, you know, the part of the losing weight was how long it was taking him to eat. And so we decided to give him a Mickey button, and he is fed through a tube in his stomach. And he continued to eat by mouth and get that, and the weight started to come back. But what I learned in that 30-day for myself was how dairy wasn't really serving me. And I eventually asked his nutritionist to switch him to a dairy-free protein. And I asked her if I could put him on the Arbonne protein that I was using since I finished that 30-day, and I fell in love with it. It's absolutely delicious. And she said, well, I'd like to, but it's not high caloric enough. And she said, however, this dairy-free protein needs some protein. He needs more additional protein. So we do have a protein boost product that is sugarless, tasteless, and it has 10 grams of vegan protein. So you can add that to any food you want or his shake. So that's what we've been doing to up his protein. He's on I think it's called Kindred Farms or something like that, dairy-free protein. And what a difference it made in his, you know, his gassiness and bloating and such and such. So getting him off dairy helps with that. But once I started giving him the protein boost, I realized, oh my gosh, he could be getting a lot of benefit from all these products. We have a great, delicious energy fizz that has caffeine in it. And he can no longer drink, you know, hot coffee. He gets everything by tube now because he did get a pneumonia. He aspirated some food, and then they said there's no more by mouth. It's just too difficult after his swallow study. So he, you know, having this, you know, a little bit of extra caffeine to give him a little get up and go. Plus we have I've got B vitamins and caffeine from the guarana and green tea plant. And that gives you like a natural pick me up, not a jittery pick me up like coffee or chocolate. And then I put him on the Mind Health, which has CoQ10, which helps with the central nervous system and helps with focus. So I love that he takes that. In his shake, he also gets the whole food vitamin and mineral blend. So that's a tiny little scoop, and it's all powder. So it's super easy for him to digest. And what else does he get? Oh, the True Sport, our sport nutrition hydration drink. So if you think of, you know, all the drinks you see on the sides of the football fields and soccer games, we have a delicious hydration drink, which has more electrolytes, more vitamins and minerals, however, no artificial flavor, no artificial color, no artificial sugars. So we use organic sugars and stevia for sweetener. And so it's so important for the elderly, as you know, to stay hydrated. And he gets that by tube as well. And it just makes me super happy that he is, you know, getting all the benefits of what I've learned through my business, and doing really, really well. I feel like we almost lost him a few years ago, that pneumonia, and he has made it through COVID. And I've actually moved him out of assisted living during COVID because I was afraid that he was going to die of loneliness. He's now in a handicap apartment in a regular apartment building with caregivers, and
Awesome.
it was the best decision. I'm so glad we did that.
I'm glad you did that too. So let me go back to, because there's a couple things that I wanted to, emphasize. So how did you approach the nutritionist or the physicians about your products? How did you get them to buy into? Because I know that could be a hurdle for some people.
All of our products have meet the product sheet, so detailed information on the ingredients, the vitamins, minerals, calories, protein grams, etc. And so I brought them with me. I said, what do you think of him taking these? She goes, I think this would be amazing.
Right.
So it was not an issue, and I felt like, some more of an advocate for my dad. I was like really happy I spoke up about the dairy, because my sister and brother had said that they'd gone dairy free, but it never occurred to me. And then when I realized that was causing me so many stomach issues and problems, and now I'm dairy free, I'm like, oh my God, we should check on Dad. He's probably going through the same thing, but never realized it.
Well, I'm glad that you guys had that insight too, to also, get the buy-in of the healthcare professionals, because that's extremely important. So I don't want anybody thinking that, oh, I'm gonna just get all these, so, look into the products. I love it that it has the nutritional, value and things like that. And then discuss it with your healthcare professional, because that says a lot when the healthcare professional is saying, oh, this is really good. So I just want to make sure people are understanding that. That's why I brought you back on the show, or brought you on the show, is because of the benefits that and the recommendations that you've gotten from other nutritionists and your doctors and things like that.
Yes.
So it's all about collaboration.
Yeah. I really like our team that, doctors and nutritionists through the Medical College of Virginia, VCU, here in Richmond, Virginia. They are awesome. And what I love about them is they have the online website. And when I have a question, I send it to this top neurologist. I get an answer the same day from him. I just love it. I'll say, is it okay if we do this? And, what do you think of that?
Absolutely.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, this one is huge. Around the Mickey button, the skin can kind of bulge out, like when you have something like that in there. And the nurses were putting Vaseline on. So I asked him, can I start using our Rescue and Renew detox oil instead of that? And he said, yeah, sure. So we started doing it. He's never had that problem again. Isn't that wild? Like, and before when that happens, they have to cauterize it, and it was so nasty.
But you know what? So, he is so blessed to have you, because you're so proactive and willing to work with the healthcare teams. And I just think that's so important, because those assisted livings are wonderful, and they serve some of the best food, some of them. I'll put it that way, some of them, but it's there for everybody. So they're not really individualizing anything, because they don't have that bandwidth to get to pick from a menu. But for you to be able to go and say, no, I want to incorporate these products, which are very beneficial, and saw the difference.
Yeah, definitely. And we did try the purified food at one point, but he hated it.
I'm sorry, my facial expressions just is like, oh.
I know he hated it, and then it was sad. As he slowed down eating, they moved him to another dining room with people who were much worse shape, and that was sad. He was like in this small little room eating, and it just made me sad. And so I know he misses food, and that's not something we can do anything about, but we joke
even
about
that
it.
Social interaction too, because then he was like that, because I was at so many educational conferences and events, and that was one of the topics we were talking about, is that food and socialization. So you have to think about the functional part of the eating, but you also have to implement, there you get to socialize. I mean, even though
Yeah,
he had the Mickey
so
button and couldn't eat like everybody else, I think he still would have benefited from being in that environment. Just put something in front of him, knowing that he
yeah,
can't, so he can still have that socialization, so many aspects in our healthcare arena, isn't it?
right,
Mm,
right. Yeah.
mm,
Um, it's been a hard thing, but we joke about it. Like when I can step in to feed him as a relative, if the nurse is not able to come. And
mhm.
so when I'm there, we'll joke and I'll say, okay, here comes the mashed potatoes and the gravy as we pour it into the tube. And here comes the
Oh,
red wine. And
well, you have to, we did that with my mom. My mom had she did have Parkinson's. And of course, the swallowing pretty much went to, she was at risk for aspiration pneumonia. So then it
mhm,
got to a point where she still needed the nutrition. So we used her peg tube or Mickey button
mhm.
for her nutritional, but I wish I would have known about these products then. And then she could still chew some things, but it did help to have nutritional supplements.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
absolutely not saying these products cure any disease at all.
right.
I'm
No,
not saying
we
that at all.
yes,
They're
yes,
just healthy nutrition choices. I'm really happy
absolutely.
to give my own father and know that
Mhm.
he's getting really clean nutrition. And so much of the dairy, and part of the problem is that our dairy system here in the US, these cows are getting jacked up with hormones and
Yeah,
antibiotics and all kinds of stuff, and that's being passed
right,
on to us and causing us problems.
right,
And to go dairy free has really helped,
right,
avoid a lot of that
right.
stuff.
Yeah, and
So
and the reason that's the main reason I brought you on here is because you had a solution that you went and you worked with the healthcare professionals. You didn't just implement and say, okay, this is going to cure his Parkinson's and he really has PSP. You went
no,
and you
no,
collaborated with them and you talked with them and you tried different things for him on an individualized way. So that's what it's about, in my opinion. It's about
yeah,
that collaborative. And if you have something that works for that individual that's been planned and
mhm.
implemented, you can see changes. That's exactly what it's about. All right.
Yeah. Communication with the whole team. We have two different groups of people helping. We have the CNAs from one company who are there 24/7 with him,
Okay.
but then we also have, RNs who come in to do his feedings, and that's a
Mm,
different company. And we have to have everybody,
absolutely.
communicating. And, sometimes say one nurse might come a little too close to maybe the morning nurse was late and the lunch nurse was early. Well, the CNA will say, no, it's too soon to feed him. He's going to be
Yeah.
really full. And
Yeah.
so I'm glad everybody is working together and,
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad your
taking it.
products are so highly favored and recommended by other healthcare professionals. That's exactly why I wanted you to come on here and tell that story because that's amazing. His journey and that he had an advocate that was looking
Yeah.
out for him, that is looking out for him.
One of my teammates just told me that she had a client who was going to do our energy fizz, and she's expecting. And so she said, can I take this pregnant? And she said, well, I did, but I would recommend you talk to your physician about it. And so
Absolutely.
the physician said, I would much rather have you drink one of these than any kind of soft drink or coffee or anything. So
Absolutely, because if you take some of the things that we buy over the counter, different soft drinks or different things, and compare them to your products, I mean, and take that to your healthcare professionals, I think that's very beneficial.
yes,
To be a steward of your own, what you put in your mouth.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And it's something when you're younger, you don't give it much thought.
No.
I always thought that anything in the stores had to be safe for us. I
Mm,
just I just assumed that, but I couldn't
yeah.
have been more wrong. There's so
Right.
many. so much money in lobbying and
Yes,
marketing and,
yeah.
you know, whatever grabs your eye the quickest sometimes. in
And
the
you hit a
store.
topic there, right, too, because there's so many products that are sold and they're supposed to be healthy,
Right, right.
and
Yeah,
you can
you
get really
gotta
tied
look
up
at it.
into, yes, you get really tied up into something that it's not healthy. It's marked healthy,
Absolutely,
but it's
absolutely.
not.
That's right. There's so many little tricks of wording that they get around, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. Well, I love your story, and I love the fact that, it worked for your dad, and you're proud enough of the products because it worked for your dad and it's worked for you as well. And I'm also proud that you went to the healthcare professionals and, incorporated them as well, so that makes a big difference. A big
yes,
difference.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So you have
Absolutely.
so many things because you started off mentioning the skincare products, and then you went into the health nutritional products. So I know you have many, many more things that you could definitely spend lots of time honing in and talking about. But for the sake of time, if someone wanted to find out more, and I do advise that they do, and about your products and your supplements and skincare line, how would you want them to reach you?
Well, probably the easiest way is on Instagram or on LinkedIn. If you look up Google in the search bar, Fran Inspired Health, you'll find me, Fran Babashak. My last name's a long one, so it's easier to find me through Fran Inspired Health on LinkedIn or Instagram.
Yes, and definitely LinkedIn is the way to go. I love LinkedIn. That's how I found
Yeah.
you.
That's right. That's right. We did, was it Quad Meets? Is that how we met?
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, all this amazing virtual networking through
We're
last
learning.
year,
We're
through
learning.
2020. It was
Yes,
wonderful
ma'am.
because now I
Yeah.
know you.
Yes. And you're from Virginia, not New York.
Right, right.
Oh, my
So,
apologies for that. Well, thank you for
no
your
problem.
time. You have been awesomely wonderful. And I'm going to have, before you leave, I'm going to have you repeat your contact information one more time for the audience.
Okie doke. On LinkedIn or Instagram, just search for Fran Inspired Health and you will find me, and all my contact information is on both of those pages in the bio. The company I represent is Arbonne.com. So that's another page you can go to, ARBONNE. So happy to help you with your own health or someone you love, and reach out.
Oh, awesome. Thank you again, Fran. And thank you everyone for tuning in to Health Chats Among Friends. My name is Deidre Kindred. I'm a nurse educator, advocator, and navigator. I love bringing you reputable resources from our local communities. Tune in next week for another amazing chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much.